Okay, well, how often do you take a package of English muffins and do anything different than toast it and maybe put some butter on it, which is delicious? So today I'm going to be sharing 4 different ways to use a package of English muffins. These recipes are super easy to make, they're delicious, and it's just fun to have something unique and different to work with, and so these English muffin recipes are going to be awesome. And if we haven't met before, my name is Ange, welcome, and this is the Menu Made Kitchen. All right, so for this first recipe I'm going to be sharing with you, we have to start with breakfast. It is the most important meal of the day. So these English muffin breakfast cups are so yummy and they're just different. It's basically like your own little mini personalized breakfast casserole. That's the best way I can describe it. You can definitely customize it. You can add any kind of breakfast meat that you want to use or cheeses. It's very versatile, but it's just a little unusual. It's yummy and I think you're really going to enjoy it. So for our English muffin breakfast cups, we have to start by preparing our English muffins. And I'm going to use all 6 of these in the packet here. You can use any kind of English muffin that you like. If you want to do the sourdough or whole wheat. These ones were on sale, and so that's why I'm doing these. I'm going to get these out on my board here. And I think I'm going to slice 3 at a time. So I'm going to do 2 slices one way over the top, and then I'll turn it, and we'll do it the opposite direction. So I'm going to get these sliced up, and then we'll move on to the next step. All right, so to this bowl, we're gonna add in 8 large eggs. I'm gonna do 3/4 cup of milk. We've got 8 ounces or 1 cup of cubed ham. You can do breakfast sausage or bacon. You'll just have to cook that first, but our family really likes ham. And then I also have 1 cup of shredded cheddar cheese. I like to finely shred this because I feel like it mixes in better. And then we've got some simple seasonings. We've got salt, pepper, paprika, a little Italian seasoning, some parsley, and dried mustard. All right, so I'm gonna start on my eggs and get the rest of the ingredients in my bowl here. Okay, now that we have our egg mixture mixed up, I'm going to add in all of my English muffin pieces. And we're going to combine this, and then I need to let this sit about, 10 or 15 minutes. You want to make sure that it has enough time, because English muffins are pretty dense, that it has enough time to soak up all of that egg and milk mixture. Okay, so we'll just stir all this together, and we're not going to really have a whole lot of liquid at the end of this because the English muffins are going to soak up so much of the egg and the milk, which just makes it easier for transferring to the muffin cups. Okay, I think that looks good, and I'm going to press down the muffins to make sure they soak up as much of that as possible. All right, so we're going to let this set for 10 minutes, and then we'll be back to fill up our muffin cups. Okay, it's been about 15 minutes or so, and I just gave the English muffin mixture a little toss. But you can kind of see it has absorbed, all that liquid in there. And so now I'm just going to fill up each of these cups here. I'm going to use my big scoop here and see if that works. And the little English muffin pieces are going to stand above the muffin cups, but that's what you want. You kind of want them to, we really want to pack them in there. But super easy. You can see it's just really easy to go through and fill up these cups. And you could even have fun with the cheese mixture. You could do like pepper jack cheese, that would be really good. Something a little bit spicy, or you could do Gruyere. Gruyere and ham is really great together. Okay, don't these look like so much fun? I'm really excited to dive in. So I've got our oven set at 350, and I'm gonna bake these about 20 to 30 minutes. I'm going to check them at the 20-minute mark, and then we'll gauge on how much longer we need. You really just want the tops to be golden brown, and when you touch the center of it, it should kind of spring back. Obviously, you don't want any liquid left in the little cups. So let's get these in the oven, and then we get to taste them. Okay, are these not the cutest little things ever? And the top got nice and crispy. It's perfectly set. I can still see some melty cheese around the edges. All right, I'm probably gonna make a mess. Look at that. Yum. They have the perfect texture. They're not eggy, I wouldn't say, but the English muffin, because it's still crispy around the edges, but it's nice and fluffy and soft on the inside. What a fantastic way to use a packet of English muffins. This is definitely a keeper. Okay, so for our English muffin garlic bread, I actually toasted my English muffins just for a few minutes. I wanted to make sure to get a little bit of golden color on them before we put them under the broiler, just to make sure that they get nice and toasty and they have that crisp texture. So I actually have two more English muffins I have one English muffin in the toaster right now that I'm toasting, but while these are still warm, I'm gonna take a half of a garlic clove. I've split it in half, and I'm just gonna take and rub some of the garlic on the warm bread. Now you can certainly mince the garlic and put it into the butter mixture, but I just wanted the essence of the garlic flavor. I didn't want chunks of garlic on my garlic bread, but by all means, you do you. I figure everyone has their, level of garlic potency, and this is mine. So I've never made English muffin garlic bread before, so I'm really excited to try this. I think it's going to be delicious and just something different than your traditional French bread garlic bread. Okay, I'm going to grab my other two English muffins. Okay, that looks good. Okay, and then for our butter mixture, I have about 2.5 tablespoons of softened butter. You definitely want this to be really soft, not melted, but enough so it spreads nice and easy. And then I've got about a tablespoon of fresh parsley. This is optional, or you can use dried parsley. It's really just for color. To make it look pretty, everything's gotta look pretty, right? Because we eat with our eyes first. Okay, and then I'm gonna add about 1 tablespoon of Parmesan cheese to this butter mixture because I'm gonna reserve the rest of this to sprinkle over the top of the English muffins. And I'm using salted butter, and because the Parmesan cheese is salted, we don't need to add any seasonings to this. So I'm gonna get this mixed up until it's fully combined. I can smell that garlic. Oh, it's gonna be so good. All right, that looks good. Okay, I'm gonna grab my sheet pan and kind of set up an assembly line here. I have a small sheet pan here. I've lined it with foil just to make things a little bit easier for me for cleanup. We'll put our garlic rubbed English muffins on there. And basically, this isn't rocket science, right? We're just gonna spread some of this herb butter on our English muffins. Probably about a teaspoon or so of the butter mixture. Okay, I have a little bit of butter left over. Get into those little nooks and crannies of the English muffin. I think that that's what makes it so yummy too, is that these have little holes for the butter to kind of seep down into. So I have my broiler set on high. I'm gonna pop these. Oh, wait a second. I gotta do my Parmesan cheese. Hello. A little sprinkling of Parm. My dad used to put butter on just regular wheat or white bread, and then he would top it with a ton of the the bottled Parmesan cheese, the already grated stuff that people put on pizza. Oh, it was so good. And then you pop it under the broiler. Delicious. So this kind of reminds me of that a little bit. I don't know if you can hear my broiler going, but I've got it on high. I'll put these under the broiler and we'll just broil them until they're nice and toasty and bubbly on the top, probably about 5 minutes. Oh my gosh, it smells so delicious in here, like an Italian restaurant, only even better. Okay, so for my sauce, I just use the Classico, and I apologize for that fan sound. That is my broiler trying to come down the temperature. But I just do the Classico. I think this one's a tomato basil. I can't read that backwards. Plus I don't have my glasses on. Yeah, tomato basil. You can use any kind of like marinara or spaghetti sauce, pizza sauce, any kind of your favorite red sauce for dipping. You could even do pesto. That would be really good. But these came out so nice and crispy. And like I said, they smell so delicious. I love the texture of the English muffin. I mean, you cannot go wrong putting butter and garlic and Parmesan cheese on any kind of bread. but how fun to do it on English muffin pieces. These are delicious. I am super excited to have this as an idea for just something different for garlic bread. I think you're really going to enjoy this. All right, so for our English muffin French toast, we're going to start by making our egg and our milk mixture. Okay, so we're going to do 1 cup of milk, and this can be any kind of milk. You could do almond milk, oat milk, whole milk, and then I'm also going to add in 2 whole eggs. I'm also going to add in 1 egg yolk, and this is just going to give it some extra richness. The 1 egg yolk I think will just really make it nice and take it up a notch. And we got to add a little bit of sugar, so I've got 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. Again, this just adds richness, but you can definitely use regular sugar. We're also going to do a 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and I'm also going to do a 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg. We're also going to add some vanilla flavor. I've got 1 teaspoon, and I'm going to do another 1/2 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I'm going to add in a pinch of salt, just a little bit. Okay, and that is it for the egg mixture. I'm going to get this whisked up until everything is pretty much combined, and then we will add in our English muffins. And the reason I'm using a big, large 9 by 13 inch dish here is because I'm hoping that I can fit all of the English muffin halves in here so that I don't have to do it in batches. All right, that looks good. We're going to set this aside and we'll get our English muffins prepared. Okay, and for our English muffins, you can use any kind of brand that you like. You can do whole wheat, you can do cinnamon and raisin, that would be really good, or sourdough. But I'm just doing the Thomas Original, so I'm going to do 4 of these. So I'll get these split in half, and then I'm going to add them to our egg mixture. Okay, and now that I'm looking at my pan compared to the size of my English muffins, I don't think I'm going to be able to fit them all, but I'm just going to add them kind of belly side down into this mixture here. And we want to let these soak for a good 2 or 3 minutes before we flip them over, because we want to make sure that both sides have lots of that, they soak up a lot of the mixture. So we'll just lay those in there, and I'll set the timer for a couple of minutes, and then we'll flip them over. Okay, our muffins are done soaking. I'm going to add some butter to my griddle here. You can definitely use a large nonstick pan if that's easier, but I love using my griddle. And my mom always taught me this, or my mom always did this when I was younger. She'd take a stick of butter, and this is how she would melt it over her griddle. So easy. And for my griddle temperature, I have it set at about 300 degrees, or you could do like a medium heat. I'm going to put them down on that first side that we soaked them to get those nooks and crannies there nice and toasty first. I'm pretty sure all of these muffins will fit on my griddle. All right, so these have been cooking about 3 minutes. Flip these over here. Oh yeah, that's perfect. That golden brown, or deep golden brown. These smell so good. I'm really excited about this. Make some room for my other guys that are in the pan here. I like my French toast very simple. A little bit of butter, some syrup. I like to be able to taste the flavors of the French toast and the cinnamon and spices. It's a big bite. Oh my goodness. This might be one of the best flavored French toasts I've ever made. Like the simple ingredients, but that English muffin texture, it just really soaked up all those flavors nicely, but it's not soggy. And I love how easy it was to make, but it's kind of unique, which is fun to have something a little bit different than the typical French bread, or oftentimes I'll just do like whole wheat bread. I think this is my new way of doing French toast, honestly. It is so delicious. If you have not tried English muffin French toast, I think you're really going to enjoy this recipe. Well, if you are new to English muffin pizzas, you are in for a treat, because they're just so easy and they're delicious. And I could not do an English muffin recipe video without having English muffin pizzas, because they're just kind of a classic. So I have to get a few ingredients ready. Obviously, you can do any kind of toppings you want. So I'm gonna shred some mozzarella cheese. We're gonna add some green pepper. We love green pepper on our pepperoni. We're gonna do pepperoni and some olives. That's kind of our favorite combination when we do pepperoni, and of course pizza sauce and all of that. So I'm gonna get these ingredients prepped and then we will move on to the next step. Now that we got all of our toppings ready, we gotta get our English muffins in the oven. I'm gonna do enough for 4 servings, and I'm using, again, the Thomas brand. I'm doing the sourdough this time for the pizza. Because these are kind of chewy and crisp, I think they're the perfect texture for English muffin pizzas. So I'm gonna get these in the oven for about 5 minutes, and then we'll come back and start assembling our pizzas. Okay, our English muffins have a little bit of toastiness to them, just on the top a little bit. So now we get to do the fun part, build them and put on our favorite goodies. I have a jar of marinara sauce here that I'm gonna use for the pizza today. And I'm gonna do about a tablespoon or so on each English muffin. I don't like my pizza super saucy, so feel free to add as much or as little as you want. But like I said, about a tablespoon is what I'm gonna do. Maybe a little bit more, just depending on how much it kind of soaks into the little nooks and crannies there. I love making these too because you can pretty much do any kind of combination, and even putting them out on the pan like this and then set out toppings, and everyone can build their own. So I just think it's a fun way to enjoy pizza, and very simple, which is usually what I'm looking for when it comes to recipes and dinner time. All right, and next we're gonna do some shredded cheese. Then I'm gonna add my pepperoni, my green pepper, and my olive. So again, pile on as much or as little cheese as you want, and I'll probably do about 3 pepperoni slices per English muffin half. Okay, our oven is still set to 425, and I'm going to put these in for about 8 to 10 minutes, really just until the cheese is nice and melted and these are toasted and delicious, and then we get to try them. I've got my little pizza here, and it's so cute. I just think English muffin pizzas are so much fun. So I added a little bit of fresh basil over the top. We usually like to do fresh tomatoes as well, so I'll probably slice some of those up, but I just think that these are perfect. Okay, let's give it a try. Okay, the texture of these Thomas English muffins are so good. Like I said, I feel like they're the best for English muffin pizzas. These are so delicious and fun. This definitely reminds me of my childhood. Like the taste, the smell in my kitchen. My mom used to make these for us for kind of a quick dinner because she had 4 kids and she needed easy things. But they're so good. If you've never had an English muffin pizza before, if this is your first time, you have to make these. Add whatever kind of toppings you want. You're gonna love them. Well, I hope you found some inspiration using a package of English muffins. You'll have to let me know if some of these are new to you or if you've tried some of these before. Don't forget, all the recipe links can be found in the descriptions. And if you're new here, I'd love for you to be part of my YouTube family, so make sure to subscribe. I hope you have a really blessed week, and we will see you next time.